There are a lot of famous people who actually used to be Jehovah's Witnesses. From Charlemagne the God, Cat Williams, Terrence Howard, Cherry Shepherd, the Williams sisters, the Wayne brothers, Prince, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson. Oh my God, just so many people who used to be Jehovah's Witnesses, and they are very famous. Why is this the case? Let's try and unpack this. Hi beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Monica. For those who are new, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness and I left in 2017, and now I create beauty content, and of course I talk about my JW experience. I think a lot of people who used to be Jehovah's Witnesses can easily navigate the world of fame because the Jehovah's Witnesses firstly prime you and prepare you to be famous. How do they do this? So firstly, the religion conditions you to seek fame. They do this by conditioning you to always want to be known as someone who is a Jehovah's Witness, someone who is very spiritual and known for that, someone who is just always trying to set a good example, someone who's not ashamed to be known as a Jehovah's Witness. Like, the religion really conditions you to be someone like that. You don't necessarily seek out fame in the sense of you want to be big in Hollywood or famous on social media, but rather you just want to be known as a Jehovah's Witness. And I think this really conditions you to be comfortable with fame, because secondly, the religion also prepares you for fame. It prepares you in the sense that you get comfortable with being ridiculed, you get comfortable with having a lot of people perceiving you, and you get comfortable with not being liked by everyone, because when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you will definitely be singled out. I remember with me when I was younger and I was still in school, for example, and we'd have a birthday, I wouldn't be taking part in the birthday, and I would always be known as that kid who does not take part in birthdays because she's a Jehovah's Witness. And that is what I mean, that it conditions you to become comfortable with being singled out and standing out, which is what essentially fame is someone who is big, someone who is singled out and they stand out. And the Jehovah's Witness religion really conditions you to be comfortable with that, because thirdly, they help you to build a tough skin. When you're a Jehovah's Witness, oh my God, people will chase you away from their homes when you're trying to preach to them. You will be rejected. People will say, I don't want to hear what you have to say. And when you go through all of those experiences, it really helps you to build a tough skin. Like, even if you are not someone who is good at approaching people, when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you become quickly comfortable with that. Not even comfortable, you just become quickly used to it, because I never got comfortable with it. I was born into the religion, but I never got comfortable with having to speak to strangers. Like, I'm an extroverted person, yes, but I don't like talking to strangers. I don't like having to question people about their beliefs in God. Like, I honestly didn't care. So for me, even though I did it for years and years and years, I still didn't enjoy it. However, the religion conditions you to still be able to do it. Even if you don't like it, you get used to talking to people. You know how to perfect that skill of public speaking, and you learn how to command a room. You learn how to project your voice. Like, being a Jehovah's Witness actually is kind of giving me K-pop idol school. I don't know why I'm connecting these two thoughts, but I feel like the Jehovah's Witness experience is quite similar to K-pop idols going through, their whole training. Where they trained to be performers, where they trained to sing along, perform along with other members within their group. That's where they figure out who works well with other people, blah blah blah. The Jehovah's Witnesses is the same. In the religion, you are taught to handle different situations with different people when you are speaking to them about God. So you know how to talk to someone who's not receptive or someone who is receptive. You know how to talk to someone who's an atheist, things like that. The religion really conditions you and teaches you how to speak to different people. You really get to perfect your communication skills when you are a Jehovah's Witness. And I think when you are famous, this is very much important. So maybe there's a connection there. Fourth, I've already alluded to this, but the religion really trains you to be good at public speaking. Like, when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you can sometimes find yourself having to address thousands of people. When I say thousands of people, I really mean it. Like 4,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, depending on how big a convention or an assembly is. If you have a talk or an assignment, I forgot what it's called, but if you're given something to do on the stage essentially, and you have to speak, you practice. So you get very much comfortable quickly with addressing a large group of people. And I think this really helped people who are famous right now, that they get comfortable with addressing a crowd or talking to a large group of people because you've been doing it for so long. There's some people who really get assigned these presentations from a very, very young age. So they've been perfecting their public speaking skills from a very, very young age. And I think that really plays a role in people who are able to become famous once they leave the Jehovah's Witnesses or while still being Jehovah's Witnesses, because there are people who are still active and famous as Jehovah's Witnesses, such as Serena Williams and Coco. She's a model from Canada, I think, and she's still an active Jehovah's Witness. Lastly, the dramas. The Jehovah's Witnesses had dramas. I remember they would have them at conventions, and at first, before, you know, the introduction of big screens and everything at conventions, people would have to play out these dramas, as in like on stage, like going to like a theater where you would watch a play. The Jehovah's Witnesses would exactly do that. They would find people within different congregations. They would meet up over weekends in preparation for a convention that's coming up, and they would play out these dramas where we would learn about biblical figures and what they did and blah blah blah, you know, where the brainwashing takes place. And I think for me, what I've also realized is that because we knew these people personally, we were able to see that, oh, this is what actually makes someone a good actor. Like if you do this, because this person doesn't usually speak like this, for example. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm realizing that people like Terrence Howard, who are actors, probably they just channeled that, you know, that experience as Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know, of course, I don't know. I'm just assuming here, but I think those dramas definitely can help someone who wants to get into acting. Definitely that would help you a lot, because you are acting and doing all of these things in front of a large group of people. You're being given pointers on what to do, what not to do, and they were quite popular in the Jehovah's Witness community. Like people would actually record them, and even now, because of big screens and technology, they are now pre-recorded and then played out at conventions throughout the world. And yeah, I think those people who are acting in those dramas could easily now navigate Hollywood if they wanted to as actors or actresses. So I think those things make it easier for them to probably become famous. So that is just some of my assumptions as to why Jehovah's Witnesses do become famous, or why we have so many famous Jehovah's Witnesses. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.